Welcome to the magic that is Gazbot, and welcome to the Horror Production Report, update number 26, and let there be light! Yeah! Go away, light! Light!
Hey, it's me, your old buddy Gazbot. Before we get into the video proper, I just want to put a quick disclaimer. Well, two things. First, we're going to lead right into some little scenes and imagery from that fancy party I alluded to in the beginning. That was a work party for Q. It was very fancy. The food was not great, but it was a fancy party. And after that, there's a lot of holiday stuff, a lot of me talking about how I didn't get any work done. I just want to assure you that by the end of the video, I do get some work done. It's not a great productive period, but I don't go the entire video without showing you any artwork or giving any progress on the Horror A4, which I do, which is kind of the point of these horror updates. The progress I make on my own personal comic, the Horror A4, which is a monster kaiju book set in the not too distant future of a world similar to our own, 100 years after the reign of monsters and giant heroes battling it out. They've disappeared, everyone's sort of forgotten about them, they've fallen into legend, and what happens? A new one shows up, the Horror A4. And how do the people react? Well, that's the book. And I've been talking about it for a while, but that was just in case you're new. And so you're gonna see a bunch of clips of things that happened to me along the way, ending with some art things, and then I'll be back to say goodbye to you. Hey guys, it's Thursday. I have not worked on the horror in a while. I've been working on Kid Switch pretty heavily, finished some pages up, finished up all my Christmas stuff, so I'm kind of ready to get back to work. Had a caricature job today at this lovely golf course about an hour from my house. It was a holiday party during the day, which is always nice because it's not wasting a weekend or competing with other jobs. I always get a little anxious when I have a caricature job. It always goes fine. Even if I do a terrible job, it's still fine because my terrible is other people's fine, you know, and it did go fine. Everybody was happy and whatever. But it's weird. I get anxious before a character job, before I go to see a band play, just any kind of event, a party. Like I was just like, I don't want to do it. It's, you know, and then I go and it's fine. And this was no exception. But speaking of events, today, Star Wars The Force Unleashed. It actually came out yesterday at midnight, but I'm going to see it at 7. So I've been offline for the last week or so to try to avoid spoilers. Still failing somewhat, getting some spoilers. And I'm quite excited to see that. I'm actually not nervous to go. Anyway, more about art to come in the future. Hey gang, I was gonna say welcome back, but to you it's been mere seconds. For me it's been days. I have not recorded a lot of updates, individual updates I should say, for this overall update. Today is Friday, December 18th, and I am completely done with all the Christmas preparations I needed to do, presents and things like that. I have done a fair job catching up on housework. I finished some more work on Kid Switch. Actually, I was talking to Keith, the creator-writer guy, and there's only 4 pages left of Kid Switch total, and I've done the roughs for 2 of them, so that project, at least the first issue, is coming to an end soon. I have a few client jobs on the horizon, but most of them seem like they'll be taking place after the new year. I have not been working on the horror. As I said, I kind of did this intentionally. I kind of allowed myself to not worry about it, but I am now getting to the point where the rest of the things I need to worry about is easing up, and I'm going to try to put in a little bit of work on the horror today. It won't be a crazy productive day, but if I can get a half-hour, just kind of start getting myself back into the groove, I'll feel better about it, because it's been, I want to say, a week or 2 now since I've worked on it, and in the beginning I didn't feel that bad about it, but now I'm starting to. Side note, Wednesday at midnight, Star Wars Force Awakens came out. Yesterday I saw it at 7, which was the earliest show at the theater by my house, other than the midnight show, which was sold out. I'm not going to spoil it, but I really enjoyed it. I think anyone that was a big fan of the original movies, that was disappointed in the prequels, this is the redemption. Now, of course, you can still find problems with it and pick it apart and this and that, but overall, it had the feel of the original movies, and it had better characters, had more humor, and it was enough of a taste of the old movies, but with plenty of new stuff that it's not just appealing to the older fans. And I'm reluctant. I want to talk more about it, but again, I don't want to spoil things. Many things were spoiled for me going into it. I was still able to enjoy the movie, but you know, it's always a bummer when, you know, one thing, knowing certain characters are in it or not in it is one thing, and then like major plot points were actually explicitly spoiled for me or implicitly spoiled for me. So that being said, though, I still enjoyed it. I'm gonna still see it again. Christmas is a few days away. Well, I guess like a week away. Have 2 parties before then, and on Christmas our big plan is Q and I are gonna, you know, open presents and hang out with each other, watch the Doctor Who Christmas special, and go to see Star Wars again. So I'll talk to you again soon. You know, I'm gonna throw up some of the finished Kid Switch art. I'm not gonna put up the full 2 pages, but I'll just put up a section of one of them just so you can see where we're at with that, fully colored and everything. And then next time I talk to you, hopefully there'll be some horror stuff. Here's Kid Switch.
Lovely. Look, invisible. It's all invisible.
Did you get it? Okay.
That is terrifying.
Do you believe? No. No, thank you. No. December 23rd, I'm drinking an eggnog latte here in the meat section of a supermarket. It's a place you don't normally see me. I just like to mix it up. Hey, here's another place you hardly ever see me. The liquor section of a grocery store. I'm mixing it up. Hello! It's Christmas Eve day. This has been a not productive update, and I'm enjoying the holiday. We're going to have a party for all the people we know that don't have family affairs, either not because they're not in the area or just because they don't have anything planned tonight. It's, like I said, it's Christmas Eve day. People will be showing up shortly. Yesterday it was just exhausting. I shopped, I set up the house, I cleaned, I wrapped presents, I did everything I needed to do so that, like, at this point right now, with the exception of putting some lasagnas in the oven, we are done. And then tomorrow, Christmas, I will just relax and watch specials and open presents and be lazy. No work on the horror. I've worked on Kid Switch, I've worked on a few other things. I've done some lettering consultations on the horror. After the holidays, I plan on getting back to it harder than ever. I'm not going to make excuses. I've just been lazy, preoccupied, distracted, whatever you want to call it. I've been busy, but it's my own fault. I could have made time, and I've not. Sometimes by choice, sometimes not by choice. Well, sometimes by conscious choice, always by my own choice. I'm not absconding from the responsibility. I am just make peace with it. I'm not beating myself up too much. Now, after the holidays, if there's an update where I'm not working on the horror heavy, I'm going to be pretty upset with myself. Right now, I'm just a little antsy, and, you know, the last update, I had got some work on the horror done, not as much as I'd like, but I was like, well, I've got some, I've literally got none done now. So we'll see how that goes. I'm not sick, but I have a slight sore throat and kind of stuffy. Like when I wake up, I don't feel good, and right before bed, I don't feel good, but the rest of the day, I'm fine. So there, holidays.
Aaron, what the butt?
It's the day after Christmas. I'm outside. It's nice out, but it's cool. It's chilly for California, or for my part of California anyway. I mean, I have shorts on, as you can see, and a hoodie, but if I was outside for any length of time, I probably would need more than shorts. I'm just taking trash out. We had a big party Christmas Eve, which was a lot of fun, but exhausting, both the day before getting ready and the actual day of the party. Plus, I don't want to say I was sick, but under the weather, perhaps. Q is full-blown sick now. Yesterday we had Christmas, mostly just me and her. And she's asleep. It's like 2-something, and she's just trying to sleep off her cold. And I'm basically cleaning up the remains of the party and the Christmas wrapping and dishes and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, nothing super exciting, and still in holiday mode.
Shift change.
Well, it's been a day or two since the last update. I have not worked on the horror. I have been working on Kid Switch, holiday things, house things, life things. Tonight we have a fancy work party, and they will have fancy food there and drinks. So what I am, of course, doing is having a nice bowl of SpaghettiOs. Now, I've put veggie crumbles in there, so I'll be getting my protein, don't you worry. And this is so when I get there and inevitably the food is disappointing, both because it will not have a lot of vegetarian options and because I'm a crazy picky eater, I will not be starving and cranky. I will eat something, but usually I end up eating a lot of mashed potatoes and diet soda. Good! Out of the darkness and into the light! Hi. It's a little bit bright, a little bit not the nice setup I would normally go for, but I wanted to update. Obviously, there have been a few segments before this. This has been a kind of a down video, not in terms of my life and things like that, but in terms of productivity and work getting done on the horror. I was trying to figure out how long it's been since I worked, and I looked at my last video that went to December 8th. And I had worked on the horror, not as much as I'd like, but, you know, on that video. And today is the 20th. This is the 28th. It's a few days after Christmas. Not quite New Year's. And I need to shave. And I worked on the horror today. What? Yes, I did work on the horror today. It was a bit of a struggle to get myself to work on it for no reason other than my own, what's the opposite of inertia? Inertia is when movement continues and therefore it continues. Sedentary? I don't know. I'm lacking the vocabulary word I need, but whatever the opposite of inertia is, my own stagnation maybe of not working on it. At first for legitimate reasons, I was busy, I had things going on, and then sort of giving myself permission to like, well, it's the holidays, I'm not going to stress. And I just I kind of took advantage of myself. I took advantage of my own leniency because it has been 20 days since I worked on the horror, which is almost 3 weeks, which is unnecessary. I mean, I could argue it's unacceptable, but it's unnecessary. I've had time, and again, I think a couple things. I took advantage of my own leniency. I have had real life stuff that's, you know, given me reasons to tell myself it's okay not to, both real and imagined. But I think a big part of it also is that well, my enthusiasm for it has waned. I'm not quitting or anything like that, don't worry. But it's a thing where I've been working on this project for a year. And I don't have a single issue out. I'm close to being done with the first issue. Now I have to keep in mind that a lot of that was coming up with the idea and writing it and things like that. I haven't literally been drawing this issue for a year, but for quite a while. And it's weird because I'm coming back and working on roughs that I did months and months ago. And, you know, as I've said before, I might revisit my entire process in terms of how I make the comic, in terms of the steps I take and the tools I use and things like that. I'm not sure. I'm not going to get too heavy into that till I finish this because I don't want to change things up the last few pages. But the other thing is, I think because I was doing so well for a while and doing 4 hours a day, 6 hours a day, 3 hours a day on a regular basis, that I'm like, I'm beat. I don't think I feel like putting in hours. And instead of just doing 30 minutes, you know, as was the original point of the challenge, the 100 days, back when I started this whole thing, I was holding myself to this higher standard, which resulted in nothing happening, which brings us back to the old adage, the enemy of good is great, or the great is the enemy of good, however you want to say it, so that instead of doing 30 minutes a day, I'm like, well, if I can't do 3 hours, I'm doing 0. And I did that for a while, and so today is Monday. It's sort of an in-between Christmas, New Year, so it's kind of, traditionally this is still holiday, but considering I haven't really worked on anything in a while, I decided I wanted to put some work in, and I did a little over 2 hours. So good, I jumped back on the horse. It's probably still going to be spotty until after the new year, and then I think I have some work coming in, so don't expect me to be like, boom, I'm done, you know. I really wanted to be done come January. There is some deadlines coming up because I have shows booked that I wouldn't normally do, except that I've booked promote, so I mean, the upside is I think I'm on page 18 of 24, so I only have like 6.5 pages left to go, and my buddy Keith is working on the lettering, so that's one less duty I have. I also still have to do the cover. Yeah, when I say it like that, it does sound like a lot more work, but I have time as long as I utilize it properly. Uzi is unhappy with this situation, as am I, and as you should be. Judge me harshly, for I judge myself harshly, for I have no one to blame but myself. It's true. It's really true. But this isn't, I'm not trying to make this a downer video, just an honest video, trying to keep it real, yo. And that was terrible. Good thing I'm wearing white, because I'm the whitey white. But anyway, I'll cut from here, and well, I guess I can show you what I did today. Here's what I did today. Worked on page, I believe it's 17 or 18, and basically got 3 panels done, one of which had already been started. So I'll just do a little flap up. And that's the flap up. So see you later. Right after that video, I decided to go ahead and do a little bit more. So I did this panel, which took me, I don't know, 40 minutes or so. So yay, more progress made. A while back, I got for a present, a VCR DVD combo, specifically to take old VHS tapes of home movies and things like that and put them onto DVD that I can then put on the computer or wherever. And as you can see, it was working out pretty good. And then I just put this tape in, and it jammed, and I had to pull the tape out. And it's funny that I'm dealing with such old technology and having to deal with something that I haven't in years, and I'm filming this on my phone. It's just, it underscores the passage of time and technology. And ooh, look at this. It's a jellyfish tape. I got it to rewind. It's a little loud, but it seems to be working. Yeah, I got cocky. This again. This is going to be a problem. So it's Tuesday now. I did spend another hour on the horror yesterday, Monday, so I did about 3 hours yesterday. I'm back at it now, so I'm feeling good about that. Let me show you what I'm doing. I'm on a panel. Now this is zoomed into 100%, which is always kind of misleading to me, because I would think 100% is the exact size it'll be printed at, but considering I'm working at 11 by 17 roughly at 300 DPI, I guess this is 100% if I printed it this way, but in reality this panel is going to be about that big. So the problem having, well, not a problem, but I wasn't super thrilled with the way some of the stuff was coming out yesterday, and so I kind of broke my own rule by zooming in more than I needed to, and then I went back to an old rule of this was the rough I had, which arguably I could ink from, but I went ahead and cleaned it up like this, and now I'm going to ink from this. So effectively, this is my roughs, this becomes my pencils, which are still kind of sloppy. Over here you can see I have my reference, obviously, and then I'm going to ink from that. So by zooming in more and doing sort of another pass of the pencils, I'm more happy with the quality of the work, but it's slowing me down, and thus continues the age-old conundrum of speed versus quality, and yeah. So anyway, at least I'm working, right? Right. Often when you're in the doctor's office, you have time to kill. I'm in the mini room, not the waiting room, but the mini room, the exam room, as it were. Well, let's see. The human spine. Understanding diabetes. Now it's Wednesday, third day in a row coming to you from the table, which is good. I put in about an hour and a half yesterday. I'm a little over a half hour today. I was almost not going to work on it right now because I had to go out, do the doctor's office, a few other things, and gotta make dinner in a minute. And so I was like, I don't really have, I've like less than an hour. And then I reminded myself of what I was saying the other day of, yeah, so do a half hour, do 45 minutes. It doesn't feel great. It doesn't feel like, oh man, I'm killing it. But it's like a little bit more done on this page than would have been done. So I'm relearning lessons that I learned a year ago. Anyway, here's what's going on. Not a ton. Basically, I got this panel done, which is a close-up of the CEO and this background. But what I did do is make the background, I drew the background all the way through. So, see, I have a white layer behind him, this layer right here. And this is the way I work a lot. It's sort of my animation style background. It works better digital than traditional, obviously. But I did this sort of inside of the elevator door and control panel. I'm going to copy and paste it here because even though like in this panel, he's inside the elevator, but it's like a time lapse. So this one, we see him just entering the elevator. This one is much more close up to the camera. Exact same background. And here, the door's open, you could see outside, but if I erase the doors, it's, you know, so I'll reuse that for consistency and expediency. Serious all night. Every night. It's New Year's Eve, and I'm Gazbot, and I'm here giving you an update that I'm at a bowling alley. Not just a bowling alley, but arcade games at a bowling alley. Yeah, that's right. There's lots of lights on my face, and there's an Austin here. Can you see this? Austin Powers, right? Nothing says 90s like Austin Powers, and everything about this place. We're ringing in the new year, and the new year is 1996. So thanks for hanging with Gazbot. Hey everyone, welcome back. It's New Year's Day, and I'm Gazbot, of course. I didn't get any work on the hard done today. Yesterday I didn't do any drawing, but which was New Year's Eve day, whatever. But I did do some lettering formatting and correspondence with revisions with my letterer. So work on the horror was done, although it wasn't actually drawing. Today I wanted to just show you this. This is a comic book I got as a Christmas present. I'm going to mispronounce his name, but Guy Delis, I think is how it's pronounced. And this is the user's guide to neglectful parenting. I like his work. I've had a few of his other books. This one was a disappointment. The other books I read were travelogues, where he went to Pyongyang and a few other places. And he works as like an animator, and it's like his misadventures in this other culture, and they were a dense read and they were interesting. And this one is about, you know, him having a kid and that kind of stuff. I'm like, okay, I'd go for that. But the main thing that disappointed me wasn't that it wasn't hilariously funny, because that's kind of not his thing. It wasn't super unique or funny, but what disappointed me more was this. You can see how there's like 4 panels on 2 pages, and that's kind of the whole book. It's almost like a daily strip that he did, that he then spread out to have each strip be 2 or 3 pages. So this whole book I read in about 5 minutes. The art is less intricate, it's more spaced out, and I like this artist, so I'm not saying I won't get another one of his books, but I'll try another one. I know he did a few in this parenting series, but it's kind of a bummer, because like the other ones, like I said, I felt like I got my money's worth. It was a dense read, it was interesting stuff, and you know, I'm tempted to be like, well, now he's a parent, it's because he's just talking about his kids. But I don't think that's true, because I could be interested in that subject matter. It's just that, I don't know, the art, like I said, like it's very sparse, no backgrounds. And again, that doesn't make it bad, but I feel like for $13, it should be more than a 5-minute read. You know, he could have had the same style of art and the same basic strips and condensed them more to make, you know, 2 or 3 times as much in this book. You know, I don't know, maybe I'm nitpicking, but it's just something to think about when you're collecting things, that don't stretch thin material further, because your consumers may not enjoy it. If your consumers are me, especially. Welcome back. As I said, it's the end of the video, and I'm back to say goodbye to you. So, goodbye. Hey, it's me, your old buddy. Ma?